with ayahuasca in particular, where even in a ceremony, sometimes something you're going through, somebody across the room will react to it. You might have some vision of the most beautiful flower you've ever seen, and across the room somebody goes, ah. I remember just after a ceremony once, I had a vision in the ceremony of a shield, a very sharp steel shield with an eagle on it. And I didn't know what it meant. Sometimes visions, they call them arcanas, where you're given a vision of a symbol that's meant to, it just stays with you. It doesn't necessarily, it's not to be analyzed, it's a protection thing. So that shield is still there with me, this sword and the shield. But I had this vision, and the next morning I was sitting around talking with people, and this girl said, I had a vision of this eagle shield last night. And I said, no way! How could that be? Well, it's because we're all connected. We really are all connected. We have much more in common than we have different. And these medicines serve that purpose of helping us realize that. And it's really, this plant in particular, the ayahuasca, is spreading across the globe right now, and I think it is like a living being in a way. It is like an angel of sorts that has a message to deliver. And that is one of the messages, is that we are much more similar than we are different. We are all united. And the other message is the care for the earth. The earth is speaking through it. The plants are speaking through this, awakening people to the consciousness of the earth and her plants, and the damage that's being caused on the earth, how she's suffering. So a lot of people are waking up to that consciousness, maybe that didn't know it before, weren't aware of it through these medicines.
I think we're still good. Okay. So I wanted to ask you about the visionary quality of these experiences and how you translate what it means to witness these archetypical images. One thing that's occurred to me is how they might be one image representing a larger concept. Like in linguistics, with a meme. A meme is the smallest unit of energy used to describe a larger concept, which can then be spread more readily. A lot of time it has to do with cultural concepts, large ideas that are then condensed into a small unit of energy, the smallest amount of characters that you can use, which then kind of can go viral. Like on the internet, these memes, they spread. And I think in some way, when we witness the pictures in our head, possibly these are almost like characters, the way that characters in a word would be. Letters, almost, in a sense, not to be so syntactual about it, but it's almost a form of visual language that we can interpret and bring back with us to talk about. So I just am curious about what people are seeing in their experiences, or how you translate what you see.
This is a very interesting subject, because a lot of times in an ayahuasca journey, the amount of visions that you see are so vast that you can only bring back a small number of them. There's so much going on. Every experience is different. It's not always like that. But I've definitely had experiences where for hours there was so much information cycling through me. I felt like my brain might explode. I mean, it was that much information. It was all really valuable information, and images and visions, but I could only bring back a certain amount. And sometimes I'll when I'm there in the journey, I'll try to flag something, be like, this is really important, remember that. And I try to journal the next day and bring it back. But a lot of it's interesting because a lot of the symbols, you don't always understand what they're saying. Things are working on a deeper level sometimes as keys that are unlocking parts of our subconscious or things that are not explainable. Different symbols that why am I seeing this? And then there are very universal archetypes that are witnessed by many people, whether they come from the Amazon or whether they come from New York City. People are seeing jaguars in their journeys. They're seeing boas. They're seeing serpents and things like this. Is this a coincidence? I don't think it's a coincidence. I think there's a number of things. I think that there are certain visions almost associated with this medicine. There's certain spirit helpers that travel with it, such as the jaguars, and you might be at a ceremony somewhere in the city and have visions that you're in the rainforest, and they're universal archetypes. What do they all mean? I don't know necessarily all the time. Sometimes I do. One of the visions that I have, the archetypes that I'm really familiar with, is the black jaguar, and I didn't know what it meant when I first started seeing him. Before I ever went to the Amazon to do my first dieta, I had a dream, and in the dream, in my backyard, there was a whole pack of black panthers or black jaguars, which is the same creature, walking through my yard, and it was really frightening. I every hair stood on end, and I backed away from them. I was really afraid of them, into this doghouse, and I remember I reached in the doghouse, and there was this little kitty in there, another black kitty, and I handed it to them, and the leader took it in its mouth, and it walked away with it. And then I woke up, and when I went to the Amazon, we had this thing. Me and my friends were down there, and we would pick these animal spirit cards before our ceremony. 3 nights in a row, I picked the Black Panther, of all things. When I returned to America, I again had a dream that a Black Panther came, and it was drinking water from a stream, and it looked at me. And the look that it gave me, again, it was very frightening. It was checking my integrity, is how I've come to understand it. The next time I went for a dieta, this was the trippiest thing. I was in the middle of ceremony, really feeling the medicine, and we were in the little hut of the shaman, and the front door, screen door, physically opened while we were in ceremony. I heard it open and then it shut. And then, in my state, I looked, and it's completely dark, so you can't really see anything, but I could feel a presence there. And I felt a presence come and sit beside me. And what I heard then was a... And I really, again, all the hair stood up, and I looked over, and I felt and I saw the presence of a black jaguar sitting right next to me. And it was that old friend. I told the shaman about it at the end of the ceremony. She said, "Oh, this is your ally. This is tu compañera, your companion." And since then, I still have visions. I ended up getting a tattoo of this guy.
There it is.
And it's funny because I was just in ceremony with a friend a few months ago, and he said now that this guy is traveling with me, this cat, he was in ceremony and he saw a black jaguar come, and he made a muscle like this black jaguar to him, and he's like, "What is he showing me his muscle?" And then he realized that this guy is on my arm, right where my muscle is, and so he realized that it was my friend here. And the next ceremony we sat in too, same thing happened. This guy came to visit him. So I really am a believer in spirits, spirit helpers, and they're symbols, also universal archetypes. for me, what does that mean? The black jaguar, that archetype in particular, I suppose it could mean something different to everybody, depending on where they are in life and what they need. For me, he's a protector, he's an ally, he's a fierceness, a fire within me, and he's also the one that checks my integrity. Are you walking your talk? Are you living in the highest way that you know you should be? Yeah, so, but it's amazing how the arcanas, like I was talking about, the arcanas are also universal symbols that sometimes people receive, and they become kind of embedded in people. They you don't always know what they mean, but they're symbols of protection, like that shield that was given to me. I can feel it. I feel the energy behind it. I can't really explain it too much, but I feel the energy behind it, and it's an energy of fierceness, of protection, of integrity, like I said, of truth and goodness, and everything that's good and right with the universal harmony, and so there's a lot. There's a lot to that. I'm sure you could interview 10 different people and they'd tell you 10 different things about that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The black jaguar comes up a lot. I was just interviewing a man yesterday, and he had a black jaguar story.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Ken Adams. He was a visual artist. He still is a visual artist, and he gave me a beautiful interview, very, very heartfelt, insightful interview about his art and his experience with Aya,
mm-hmm.
and he told a really, really poignant and powerful story of a jaguar coming to him. You can listen to it on What We Bring Back.org.
Mm-hmm.
I just put it up today.
Mm-hmm.
And over the course of researching and listening to a lot of people's experiences with the visions they had, the jaguar, the crocodile, the serpent.
Yeah.
These are for whatever reason things that come to greet people. And with DMT, there's a greeting.
Yeah.
A lot of times people claim it to be something similar to a fairy or an elf or a gnome.
Mm-hmm.
And there's these kind of greeters at the gate that come to check in and see how you're doing and analyze you and bring you into the next part of the journey.
Yes. I find that crocodiles in particular, I haven't witnessed or heard a crocodile in my own visions, but I've talked to a few people who have. Even in that movie by, I think his name's Jan Kunin, The Renegade, there's a lot of really intricate ayahuasca visionary digital art, and the crocodiles are one of the things included. I call it the realm that they exist in, the underworld, and there's different interpretations of what that means. But usually, if I'm seeing a crocodile, it's not really a place I want to hang out too long. It's what I would call a darker realm. But sometimes they're the things that it's a sign of thing we need to get rid of, or. Also, another one that people see are actually mermaids.
Really?
The shaman I work with, she works with the sirenas, which are mermaids. And I've talked to a few people who have seen mermaids. And they're not necessarily like Little mermaids. They're a little more fierce than that. They're a little more mischievous, kind of like dakinis. So that's another one. Spiders, snakes. People have different associations or relationships with them. Myself, I'm not so fond of seeing serpents unless it's the boa. I love the boa. The boa comes with a lot of benevolent energy. But the times that I've seen serpents have been when I'm in more of that darker realms. And but some people really have a relationship with the serpent, allies with it in a different way than I do. But the curandera there that I work with, she herself she feels the same way I do about the serpent. And she actually says to call on